Boom, 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 boom. Now tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to run. When judgment comes for you. When judgment comes for you. Tell me what you gonna do when it ain't nowhere to hide. When judgment comes for you. 'Cause it's gonna come for you.
Making it for water, easy, see some for Charlie. Little boo for God's got him. And I'm gonna miss everybody out of roll and flow like I looked at a wild flag. And play for dust and they play too deep for beach side. Little legs I came to be. Tell me your feature deceased, would it please? Marry me by my grand way. You can't go follow
God bless you, working on a plan to
Back on Wrestling Network. Welcome back to the CrosUp, your weekly look back at the week that was of professional wrestling. This week I'll be running through the TV results and happenings from Raw on June the 1st to Collision on June the 6th, as well as starting with the Clash in Italy PLE from last Sunday. Obviously, we've had a couple of pay-per-views in a row, so I'm having to cover later on than per usual. But like I said, we'll start with Clash in Italy. We get a opening package that kind of just the matches on the card, which kind of runs through everything that's going to happen. Our opener, where Cody Rhodes defeats Gunther via pinfall when he hits the crossroads, and he does pin Gunther, but Gunther's foot is under the rope, but the ref does not see it. So Gunther is very, very angry after the match. He yells at the ref before storming off, and he even points out the replay on the big screen to the ref, but it's too late as their decision has already been rendered. We then go to our WWE Women's Championship match where Rhea Ripley defeats Jade Cargill via pinfall. She gets some help from Charlotte, distracting Jade and allowing Rhea long enough to hit the championship. We Brock Lesnar and Oba Femi. Lesnar is able to win this time. He hits 7 F5s. He hits kind of 4 in a row to start things. He eventually hits one through the table on the outside, through the announcer's table, and then he goes back in the ring, hits a 7th, and gets the win. So pretty much guaranteed that we're probably going to see a rematch at SummerSlam, I would guess, or maybe at the King and Queen of the Ring match. We'll see, or King and Queen of the Ring show. So we'll see what happens with that. We then have our Women's Intercontinental Championship match. Sol Ruka actually defeats Becky Lynch via pinfall versus a suplex into the corner. Lands rope, hits the Soul Splitter, and to WWE Intercontinental Champion. And then we go to our main event, which is Tribal Combat. Roman Reigns defeats Jacob Fatu after hitting a spear through a table propped up in the corner, and then he does kind of a charged up super spear right after that and gets the win. After the match, the Usos come in to acknowledge Roman, which Fatu has to do on Monday Night Raw tomorrow. Bloodline then leaves as the MFT randomly show up in the crowd. Fatu kind of looks over at Solo and eventually follows Roman and the Usos down the aisle to end the show. So pretty solid show, pretty jam-packed with some big stars. The crowd is amazing as per usual with these kind of international crowds. Italy definitely brought it. They're still actually in Europe they were in Europe for this week, and then I believe they're at least in Europe again for tomorrow night as of this recording. So or tonight as of when this drops, I guess. So I think they're in Paris tomorrow. They've been throughout Italy over the last week or so, but the international crowd's been amazing. Not to mention the Mexican crowd that was at the Noches Grandes or whatever the name of the show was. Where this match happened. So, but as far as I thought, all the matches were pretty consistently good. I would lean towards Tribal Combat as the best match on the show. It was one of those shows where nothing was really like wow, great or anything like that, but everything was consistent and solid throughout. But Tribal Combat just had a little bit more juice to it than some of the other matches, and they really brought it in that one for sure. So. But we'll go from there to Raw. We get a recap of the show we just covered. Roman and the Usos arrive. Jacob Fatu is not with them at first. We then pause for the fans to serenade Roman Reigns. And it's an awesome moment. Just, like I said, the international crowd, the chants are always really awesome. Roman Reigns is very impressed, and he lets it continue to go on and on for a few minutes. And he eventually gets his acknowledge me catchphrase thrown in there. He is happy that it's Acknowledgement Day, but Jacob Fatu is not here. It's his first day on the job, and he's already late, so calling him out. But then Jacob Fatu comes out, and Roman and Jay kind of mock him for taking so long. He then glares at Jay and takes the microphone away and says he's taken a lot of losses over his career. Last night was another one, and he knows there are consequences. His children saw their father take a loss last night, but he's going to be a man and keep his word. Last night he lost to his tribal chief, and he didn't. But then he looks at Jay and says he didn't lose to his punk ass. Fatu goes back to Roman and officially acknowledges him, even taking a knee in front of him. Roman then takes Jacob's hand and pulls him up, saying that Fatu might not understand this right now. Roman loves him. Jimmy says Fatu is with them, and now they're the ones and the four of them do the finger to the sky pose. We then get video hyping up the King and Queen of the Ring tournaments. The tournaments will begin with 4 ways. The winners go to semifinal singles matches from there. We then have our first King of the Ring match where Ofemi defeats Solo Sikoa, Penta, and Carmelo Hayes when he hits the Fall from Grace on Solo. This advances him to the semifinals of the King of the Ring. After the match, Oba talks about Brock, asking if he could take a beating. Well, here he is 7 F5s later, and now he's going to be King of the Ring. Lesnar needs to remember that they're 1-1, so they will see each other again down the road. We get video for our main event tonight, which is Seth Rollins versus Braun Breaker. We then have our new Women's Intercontinental Champion, Sol Ruka, come out for a promo. Sol is asked if she believed that she would get here, and then she thanks the fans for believing in her. She also thanks Becky Lynch for giving her a chance, but then she proved Becky wrong. And it's not just here saying anything. She'll be a fighting champion, and you shouldn't underestimate her because she will snatch your soul. And then she even gets some pretty good pyro to kind of wrap up her little segment here. But just kind of put over a new champion, give her some hype up after the big win. We then go to after Clash in Italy. Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns kind of have a silent stare down. They run into each other, kind of have a quick little face-to-face. Roman wants the Usos to keep an eye on Cody. For now, though, he wants Jay to win King of the Ring and go on to SummerSlam and get Cody's title so they can both be world champions. Jimmy is staying with Roman, though, because Jay has to do this on his own. We then have Dragon Lee and Rey Mysterio. They defeat Rusev and Ethan Page when Rey hits the 619 and a slingshot splash on Page. We then get Adam Pearce talking to Penta and gives him the Intercontinental Championship match against Rey Mysterio next week. Penta approves and leaves when LA Knight comes in. LA Knight isn't happy with how much attention Pearce has been giving to Roman Reigns in the Bloodline. So maybe we need to get Adam Pearce his own honorary Uso shirt. Maybe LA can bring Pearce out of retirement just to put him back in it. LA Knight, Pearce is trying to get the Bloodline back together and even mocks the finger point before storming off. We then go to commentary. They talk about the mask versus mask match from the AAA show the previous weekend and say that they will be even airing the match after the Raw broadcast goes off tonight. So after Raw went off air, for those that didn't watch the show on Saturday, they showed the match in its entirety right afterwards. We then have our first Queen of the Ring match. It involves Io Sky defeating Lash legend Julia and Roxanne Perez when she hits the over the moonsault on Julia. This obviously advances her to the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring. We then go to Maxine Dupree. She is not happy about not being in the Queen of the Ring tournament, but Adam Pearce says choice of a spot opens up. The Alpha Academy warned her about hanging out with Austin Theory because he's bad news, and then she insists that she can take care of herself. We then get a video of Danhausen cursing ESPN's Stephen A. Smith and the New York Knicks, who then went on a losing streak, but then he uncursed them, and they have been on a winning streak ever since and are in the NBA Finals as we speak. They have now won, I believe, 11 in a row, maybe something like that. They in the finals as we speak. They play tonight again in Madison Square Garden, so we'll see if the Danhausen uncursing continues to work out for the New York Knicks. We then then we have Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. They want the women's tag team titles. Valkyria goes over to Sol Ruca and praises her for ending Becky Lynch's reign of terror. Valkyria gets a shot out of this, and Bayley isn't thrilled because she seems that they need to have their focus more towards the tag team championships. We then have Roxanne Perez. She rants about her loss in the Queen of the Ring when Liv Morgan to brag about how she's going to win the tournament. Raquel Rodriguez has to help her get the hint that Perez is upset. Perez doesn't seem happy about not getting any help. Liv then says she and Dominic Mysterio are winning the tournaments, seemingly forgetting that JD and Raquel are both in respective matches as well. So we'll see how that kind of ends up. We'll talk about Raquel's tournament match here in just a little bit. She match of her own, but we shall see. We then go to our main event of Raw. It is Seth Rollins defeating Braun Breaker via pinfall when Braun misses a spear and kind of knocks himself silly, allowing Seth to hit stop for the win. Rollins, the match kind of says Ford, who had come out to kind of ward the Vision away, and then he does kind of the belt thing across his midsection, implying that he's coming for Roman Reigns in the World Heavyweight title, as he never lost the World Heavyweight title last time he had it. He's in the King of the Ring tournament, so we'll see if he ends up advancing and ends up being successful. But he is definitely involved in the tournament itself. So as far as best match for Raw, I would go with that Rollins and Breaker match. They have pretty good chemistry. Breaker's just so intense, and Rollins at this point, maybe not as, he doesn't have his fastball maybe he had at one point in his career, but he definitely still is very athletic and can kind of match or kind of go with the speed that Braun Breaker has, and is good at selling the strength advantage that Braun seemingly does have. So two very athletic individuals who seem to have some pretty good chemistry with each other. I would like to see the feud kind of end and maybe kind of revisit it at another time, because it has been going on for forever, but they do seemingly have good matches anytime they match up. So, but from there, we'll go to NXT. We open with Zarya defeating Lizzie Rain via pinfall following an F5. After the match, Zarya loads up another F5, but Tatum Paxley comes in to kind of ward her off, and then offers her a North American women's title match next week. We then go to Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne. They suggest to Sean Legacy and Dorian Van Dukes that they should team up, and they both seem very interested in that idea, as they've kind of teamed up a little bit before, but maybe making it official and giving them something to do may not be a bad idea. We then go to Izzy Dame. She's wearing it seems like she's wearing like a referee's outfit for some reason. She tells the Culling to focus, as she is going to put the women's title on the back burner for now and help them focus on winning the tag team championships. We then have Dark State. They come out for a match, but Saquon Sugar sneaks through the crowd and drops Cutler James with a lead pipe. So they kind of have to shake up the format of NXT, because they were supposed to have their match next. We then have OTM defeat the Culling when they both hit a double angle slam on Sean Spears to get the win. We then have EK Prosper. He gives Tate Wilder a pep talk before he has his match with Jackson Drake, but ask Wilder maybe let someone else have a chance, because he seemingly took kind of all the shine in their tag team match that they had the previous week. Wilder doesn't seem interested in that idea, and then Cam Hendricks comes in to brag about his own success and the fact that he has an NXT title shot tonight. We then have Jackson Drake defeat Tate Wilder via pinfall after some help from Buckwood on the outside, and then Jackson hits his 450 to get the pin. We then get Robert Stone. He is fired up about the Great American Bash that's coming up pretty soon, but Osiris Griffin comes in to complain about Cutler James being attacked by Saquon. Jasper Troy then comes in to mock Griffin, but Dark State kind of jumps Jasper Troy and leaves him laying. We then look at Lola Vice retaining her championship last week over Izzy Dame, and then Lola Vice comes out to cut a promo. She says last week she knocked out Izzy Dame just as she promised, and now she wants to know who's next. Kalani Jordan then comes out, who brags about she's gone to TNA and become Knockouts champion. I'm a bigger star and continues to have success this day. Some people criticize her for that, but those same people praise Lois's successes. Now it's just one chance, but before she can go any further, Kendall Gray and Ren Sinclair come out. Kendall Gray brags about her own success and suggests that she'll be coming after Kalani Jordan for attacking Ren. Lola is sick of this and makes a number one contenders match between she can do Kendall and Kalani for next week. And then Kendall Gray approves. Kalani Jordan goes for the belt that Lola is wearing. So Lola swings her spinning back fist, but she accidentally hits Kendall instead. And Kendall's pretty much knocked out from there forward. So pretty intense scene. Obviously, Kalani and Kendall have had kind of a rivalry going on lately, so it kind of makes sense for them to be the kind of determinant of the new number one contender. So we'll see what kind of happens from there, but hopefully a solid match, and it'll lead to another solid match. Lola and whoever gets the win. We then have a preview of the Mr. NXT pageant. Tatum Paxley then knows that Shiloh Hill will win, and then Shiloh leaves, and Zarya runs in to lay Tatum out ahead of their big title match the next week, obviously. We then have Mason Rook. He comes up to Tony D'Angelo and says he should be having a title match tonight instead of Cam Hendricks. Robert Stone then comes in to say that Rook can face Naraku next week, and the winner will get the next title shot. We then have Lexis King retaining his speed title against Romeo Moreno via pinfall coronation. We then have another dust-up between Natty and Jada Parker. They argue some more. Natty again calls her soft, and Jada Parker seems to be really affected by this, even though she's been called soft by her before. So I don't really know why that's any different than usual. So hopefully we get back to this pretty soon, because that way I'll probably never have to see Natty again on NXT. So hopefully this is almost over and we can have a match pretty soon. We then have Keanu Carver. He comes up to Tate Wilder to kind of make fun of him for losing earlier, but EK Prosper comes in to kind of stand up for Tate and kind of ward off Keanu for now. We then have Kendall Gray. She's worried about Ren's knee, but Sinclair tells her to worry about Kalani and not her. We then have Dark State of Dion Lennox and Osiris Griffin. They defeat Tavion Heights and Miles Bourne when they hit the Doomsday device on Heights. After the match, Saquon Sugar shows up for a stare down, but no physicality. And then we have our NXT Championship match where Tony D'Angelo retains against Cam Hendricks via pinfall when Mason Rooks stops Cam from cheating using a chair. And then that allows Tony to catch him with the big spine buster for the win. And then after the match, Naraku presents D'Angelo with the title, and then they make the Naraku versus Mason Rook match officially for the number one contendership next week. Not the greatest episode of NXT, I would say. The main event was pretty solid. Kind of got all the big players involved. Some of the matches were solid, but just not all time great or anything like that. Just perfectly down the middle kind of episode of NXT. I thought, having a big title match at the end was pretty cool, but in the grand scheme of things, I think it was pretty down the middle kind of show for them. So, but the main event will get my best match for the show. But we then go to Dynamite. We start with Roosh. He is ready to win the world title. He's talking to Renee Paquette backstage. MJF pops in and says he doesn't buy it, and then Roosh kind of roughs him up for a little bit in response. We then go to later in the day. Andrade El Idolo comes up to Roosh, tells him that he needs to do this for the family. And then we the first match, MJF is able to defeat Roosh via submission. Roosh eventually passes out in a crossface. And then after the match, MJF loads up a belt shot, but Mark Briscoe comes in to make the save, and the conglomeration kind of come out to make sure that MJF doesn't come back. We then have Mark Briscoe defeat Leo Rush via pinfall with a cutthroat driver. After the match, Briscoe talks about his brother passing away and then having his own birthday a few weeks later. Instead of having a birthday cake with his brother, he had to debut in AEW all by himself. Then he met some people who were down to conglomerate, and it gave him some joy about being a wrestler again. Then he crossed paths with MJF, who tried to take that joy away. Briscoe beat him once, and MJF left, so the joy was back. Now MJF is back again, and Briscoe wants to win the world title from him. MJF calls himself the devil, but Briscoe says the good book says the devil always loses. So we'll see if and when maybe Mark Briscoe gets his title shot, but MJF is the champion, and Briscoe's going to do it until he gets it. We then have a video from last week of Kevin Knight kind of turning on Mike Bailey, ending Jet Speed as a tag team. We then go to the Triangle of Madness. Tekla has a mic. She explains that she hates Stardom because they don't know how she treat their stars. She wants the rest of the team to win gold. Obviously, Julia is going to be in the Survival of the Fittest for the TBS Women's title, and Sky Blue has a spot in the Owen Hart Cup. So if Sky Blue wins gold, that means Tekla and we're going to be facing each other at all in. But she's just being wacky and zany and all that kind of stuff. But she's focused on Stardom. Obviously, I think it's leading to a kind of forbidden door kind of match. So she's kind of focusing on calling out Stardom, calling out people from Stardom, and poking that ahead of Forbidden Door. Tekla then grabs the ladder from the backstage, climbs up, and the Stardom logo is on the Forbidden Door logo on the screen, and she spits and flips off the Stardom logo right there. So, this is kind of a niche kind of rivalry between her and Stardom, I guess. So I'm not sure most people understand what's going on there. I am kind of one of them, honestly. But obviously she has some ill will kind of towards them, and she wants to face one of their best at Forbidden Door, I'm guessing. So we'll see how that kind of ends up happening. We then go to the Death Riders. They work on Will Ospreay's neck some more before he faces Mark Davis again, because obviously Mark Davis almost took him out after their last match. Jon Moxley comes in to say that this is a different Ospreay coming after Davis this time. Moxley says Ospreay's job tonight is to win, and he's starting to see a little bit of a change in Ospreay that he likes. We then have Andrade El Idolo. He defeats EK Manning via pinfall following the DM. After the match, Andrade says MJF just beat Roosh, but does MJF think he can beat Andrade? This brings out Don Callis and Jake Doyle to interrupt, which seems to have Andrade kind of confused. Obviously, Don kind of hypes him up a little bit, but then Callis introduces the newest member, the 1,500th member of the Don Callis family, and that is the TNT champion Kevin Knight, ahead of his match against Mike Bailey. We then have that match, and Kevin Knight retains his TNT championship against Mike Bailey via pinfall following a crash landing, which is kind of a spinning Uranagi slam, is kind of what I call it. But then after the match, Kevin Knight says that's how you do it. He had to get rid of the dead weight, so he joined the Don Callis family, and he wants to be the world champion as well. So everybody's going to be MJF. I feel like he needs to have a focus, continues to have these guys that are coming out of the woodworks wanting to be world champion. I mean, I love that everybody wants to be world champion, but a rivalry could be something good for the world champion at some point, because obviously Darby was facing everybody, which was a cool way to kind of do a face title reign. But MJF seemingly has everybody coming for him, even other heels. So we'll see where his focus kind of shifts going forward. But we go back to the Dogs. They continue to mock Adam Copeland and Christian Cage in their 5-second poses. They even bring in Kazoos this time. The Young Bucks come in to call them stupid and mock David Finlay for being the worst Bullet Club leader ever. Seems like it's probably going to lead to a match at some point, but they don't make anything official as of right now. We then have MJF. He says Mark Briscoe doesn't get a title shot if it's up to him. So obviously, I think he'll get a shot eventually, but he'll have to probably earn it in some way or form. We then have Mercedes Moné, who returns. She is the wild card in the Owen Hart Women's Tournament, and she defeats Alex Windsor via submission, statement maker. Obviously, this advances her to the semis of the Owen Women's Cup. Obviously, she won last year, so she's trying to go back to back. When the wild card was kind of pitched, obviously, I kind of assumed myself that it was going to be her. She's been gone for a while, and I think she would probably be recovered from whatever injury that she would have had. So I definitely thought there was a good chance it was going to be her. So we'll see if she goes back to back. There's not much star power in this tournament, so I don't really see anybody super kind of contending with her. She's going to face the winner of a match on that happens on Collision later in the week. In the next round, I don't see her losing that one, but we'll see how the tournament kind of rolls out. But I very well could see her going back to back for sure. We then get video on TJ, aka Tay Mello, and Anna Jay. They went to a time limit draw with Megan Bayne and Lena Cross in Collision, and that gets them a title shot on this week's episode of Collision. We then have Don Callis with Kazuchika Okada. He is glad to have Kevin Knight in the Don Callis family. Then he's ready to see Mark Davis win the Owen Hart tournament, and Okada even pipes up and says he wants his international title back from Takeshita. So obviously, I don't think they've seen the last of each other. We then go to Tommaso Ciampa. He takes credit for sending Chris Jericho home and says things have changed since Chris Jericho's big hiatus, obviously, that he just came back from. Jericho could come back, but it will only be worse. And then he calls him a stupid idiot, which is one of Jericho's favorite lines from back in the day. We then have Will Ospreay defeat Mark Davis via submission with the Death Grounds, which is a cross arm breaker. And this advances Ospreay to the finals of the Owen Hart tournament. So he will meet the winner of Brody King and Swerve Strickland in the finals of the Owen Hart tournament at Forbidden Door to determine who goes on to All In to face whomever the AEW World Champion will be at that point. We then go for, as far as best match for me, Ospreay and Davis was awesome, but I thought Rush and MJF was also very awesome, and I would give that the edge. So there was a dust up in the Observer newsletter earlier in the week. Apparently, Dave's editor couldn't read his handwriting very well or something like that, because Ospreay and Davis initially got a 5 3/4 ranking from Dave, but Dave came back to talk about on Twitter or something like that and responded to somebody kind of quote tweeting it, saying that it was actually 4 3/4. So I don't know what he went on Rush and MJF, but I like that match a tad bit more. I love Will Ospreay as well, and Mark Davis is really rising up the ranks for me as far as people that I really love in AEW. But both are really great. Check both of them out without a doubt. But I'd give the edge to Rush and MJF. We then go to Impact. We open with Eddie Edwards defeating BDE via pinfall following a Boston Knee Party. After the match, they continue to beat him down, but Fabian Eichner runs in to make the save. The System managed to take Fabian down, but then Leon Slater comes out to make the save as well, and he does a crazy big running flip dive over the corner, and all of the faces end up standing tall at the end of the segment. We then go to a video hyping up the Hardys versus the Righteous tonight in the Righteous's Wicked Garden. So they're going to have a Wicked Garden match later on tonight in the main event. We then go to AJ Francis. He comes to cut a promo. Francis does his usual introduction that he usually does, brags about getting rid of Rich Swann. He brags about his musical abilities and loads up a song called Walk, which doesn't seem to be overly great, and the crowd kind of boos him pretty heavily. We then go to Elijah coming out to interrupt him, but Francis says that Elijah is stealing his intellectual property. Francis throws up what appears to be his face on Elijah's guitar. He kind of puts his head on Elijah's body on a video. We then have Francis says he's not done, and he put out a cease and desist letter from his song and all that kind of stuff, and fucking with his intellectual property, he says. And then Elijah doesn't want to collaborate. AJ says he purchased the name, image, and likeness of Elijah, Elias, and even Ezekiel. Elijah then loads up a song that he calls No Skill Uncle Phil, and he turns his back stupidly to AJ, and AJ lays him out. We then have Indy Hartwell and Santino Marella mixed tag on. When Daria Ray comes in to interrupt, she makes it clear that she had nothing to do with Indy getting a new contract and does not wish them luck later tonight. We then have Elena Black. She brags about being on the winning team on the Champions Challenge last week and is ready to win the Knockouts title whenever she gets the chance because she is that awesome. We then have Santino Marella and Indy Hartwell. They defeat Stax and Ariana Grace when Santino hits the Cobra on Stax. So that hopefully squashes that kind of that rivalry, but we'll see if it continues going forward. The Elegance brand then gets a message from the Undead Realm, and they get kind of spooked and scared from it. So we'll see where that continues to go. We then have Eric Young. He is in the ring to talk about how this place is sick and he has to fix it. He did that to Joe Hendry, Ricky Sosa, and EC3, and now it's time to win the World Championship. Mike Santana is sick and addicted to the fans' applause, so Young is going to beat him due to being better than needing the cheering of the fans and stuff like that. Santana comes out to interrupt, calls Young a less than relevant. Young talks about how he's been here longer than anyone and he is the one constant. Santana says that people like Young are the ones really poisoning TNA, but Young calls him the shiny new toy around here. People will turn on him too, but Santana is sick of him. So let's do the title match right now. Eric Young then low blows him and gives him a pile driver. So we don't really get when maybe we'll get this title match, but it will happen sooner rather than later. We then have Mustafa Ali. He is not happy about getting pinned in the Champions Challenge last week, but he knows that Casey Navarro got a fluke win and that their title match will be next week. We then have the personal concierge for the Elegance brand come out to warn Lei Ying Lee that the Elegance brand is coming for the Knockouts title. She then has a match with Mr. Elegance. Mr. Elegance wins via pinfall after a distraction from Zaya Brookside, who was on commentary. And then Mr. Elegance hits a wind-up DDT to finish off the match. And then after the match, Zaya Brookside is the number one contender and kind of announces that she is going to have her title shot at Slammiversary, which is coming up. We then see the Wicked Garden getting prepared. It just basically a bunch of flowers around the ring and barbed wire and tables and all kinds of crazy stuff. So it's basically just a, dolled up hardcore match, we'll say. And the Righteous do defeat the Broken Hardys when Vincent hits the Orange Sunshine for the win. The Righteous are all happy after the match, and then the Hardys seemingly just disappear for a spooky ending. So definitely not the best in-ring show for TNA this week. I out of just pure fact of I have to give a match best match, I would give it to that last match. Really not the best in-ring stuff this week. Obviously a lot of promos and kind of hype stuff for next week's show and kind of hyping up to Slammiversary and stuff like that. So not a ton going on here, but the main event wasn't bad. But it's just kind of a hardcore-y kind of match. So I'm more likely going to cheer for something like that than anything else. So we'll see. I think that can kind of rebound next week because that was a effort for sure. We go to SmackDown from there. We get another Clash in Italy recap. Commentators welcome us to the show, but Gunther comes in to wreck the table. He wants justice for what happened because he is the ring general and put his foot underneath the rope on purpose. Gunther calls out Cody Rhodes, and Cody comes out to answer or to respond. Cody says Gunther is absolutely right, but Gunther is also a pro. Has he never had a finish go against him before? Cody only needs to make one phone call, so let's do a rematch right here tonight. Gunther is ready to go, but Sami Zayn interrupts to say this is nonsense. Gunther doesn't want to hear this, but Zayn says he knows what it's like to beat Gunther for a title. Cody then says he's kind of busy right now with Sami, thinking Cody is ducking him. Last week, Cody said that if he beats Gunther, he would teach Sami a lesson. So when is Sami getting his lesson? Gunther gets in and jumps Cody, but he and Sami cleared Gunther out, and Sami isn't interested in a handshake when Cody offers it to him after the match. We then go to Danhausen's laboratory. Miz kind of follows some cables to find where it is. Danhausen tells him not to touch stuff, but obviously Miz does touch something, and he even gets electrocuted for his troubles. We then have Gunther. He yells at Nick Aldis to fix this situation and even threatens lawsuits if it's not handled correctly. We then have Raquel Rodriguez. She advances in the Queen of the Ring tournament, defeating JC Jane, Kiana James, and Bayley when she hits the Tejana Bomb on Kiana. Like I said, this advances her to the semifinals of the Queen of the Ring. I believe she's matched up with Io Sky as well, so we already know that matchup. But after the match, Julia helps Kiana James up. Kiana James shoves her away, and Julia beats her down, pretty much ending their partnership. I assume she was supposed to come across as the face in this. They were early, so she did get a pretty big pop because she's half Italian, I'm pretty sure. So, but then we go to Sami Zayn. He rants to Johnny Gargano once again until Aldis comes in. Aldis tells Zayn to stay out of Gunther and Cody Rhodes' business. Aldis has someone else to talk to, and it is the returning Chad Gable, no longer Grande Americano Chad Gable. That kind of new direction is without the mask. We then have Tala beat Royce Keys via pinfall when a distraction by the MFTs allows Tala to hit the chokeslam to get the win. After the match, they continue to beat him down, but R-Truth runs in to make the save. It kind of fails. Damian Priest then comes in to save R-Truth, and Royce is kind of left behind, laying flat on his back. So we then go to the Judgment Day. They praise for winning, but Liv Morgan comes in once again to kind of make it all about herself. We then have video of Finn Balor, who is a new SmackDown superstar. He has officially kind of been traded over there, and he will be making his SmackDown debut next week. We then go to Damian Priest. He isn't happy with R-Truth, who is already injured, getting involved in something that's not really their business, especially because Damian doesn't trust Keys. R-Truth insists that he's okay, and his brother, a doctor, told him that he was okay. Priest says R-Truth doesn't have a brother, but it says he does, and said his brother is the doctor of thugonomics. That makes Priest walk off kind of flabbergasted. So the War Raiders then come in, the new AAA tag team champions, and they seem to want a shot at the tag team titles. He has no idea who they are and walks away. So we'll see if the War Raiders get a match against Truth and Priest. We then have Rhea Ripley. She comes out to the ring. She has her knee wrapped up pretty tight, and she comes out to cut a promo. She's glad to put the Jade Cargill chapter behind her, but her knee is a bit banged up. The reality is Cargill blew her chance thanks to, I guess we'll say, a friend helping Rhea. Charlotte then comes after this is said and says she's had fun teaming with Rhea. The Queen of the Ring is starting up, though, and she is a competitor, so she's for Rhea's title. Rhea doesn't seem to mind, but here is Tiffany Stratton to interrupt as well. Charlotte thinks that Stratton is here to apologize, but Stratton is here to talk about Rhea's title as well. Brings out Jade Cargill and company as well, who says Charlotte is next for her. Jade doesn't think much of Tiffany either, and they seem to kind of set up a tag team match as Nick Aldis comes out and makes it official. So Charlotte and Tiffany will be taking on Jade Cargill and one of her minions. It ends up being Michin and her. Jade and Michin defeat Charlotte and Tiffany when Jade hits Jaded on Tiffany Stratton to get the win. We then have JC Jane. She has fatal influence about her loss, and they take out some anger by jumping Briella and Paige. They also take women's tag team titles and hold them up in the air to kind of signify that that's maybe where their focus is headed next. We then have Royce Keys. He thanks R-Truth for his help. R-Truth suggests that Damian Priest can help against the MFTs, but Keys doesn't think that partnership is going to work out. We then have Ricky Saints. He defeats Carmelo Hayes via pinfall, but he does so with a handful of tights on a roll-up. We then have Trick Williams. He says he is concerned with himself and himself only, and says he isn't worried about who is coming for his championship, but he also wants to be king of the ring, so that's where he starts going tonight. Braun Breaker is one of the competitors that's going to be in the match that he is in later, and they kind of have a bit of a stare down before we kind of cut away to the next thing. Chelsea Green then asked Tiffany Stratton why she didn't ask for her help tonight. Tiffany said it was okay, but she has to go to the trainer's room, and she can't be in Chelsea's corner in the next match. We then have Lash Legend defeat Chelsea Green via pinfall following a lash extension. We then look back at the acknowledgement ceremony of Jacob Fatu acknowledging Roman Reigns. We then go to Solo Sikoa, who comes up to Royce Keys and says Keys needs some support. Sikoa talks about how he's the only one to call Keys, and they need to get ready for war. They need to do it together. Royce seems to be kind of questioning himself, and Solo says to stop making this difficult, or Solo will make it even more difficult for him going forward. We then get another video kind of hyping up the Mass versus Mass match from last weekend. Once again, this cuts to Ray Phoenix talking to Fraxium when Chad Gable comes up. Gable talks about how he and Phoenix had a match last year at WrestleMania, but Gable was doing it to mock Lucha Libre. He has since learned how great Mexican culture is and wants to apologize. Phoenix says he forgives Gable, and he's not the only person, but he's not the only person that Gable has to apologize to. We then have Cody Rhodes. He runs into Nick Aldis, who asks if the offer for a rematch with Gunther is still good. He says it absolutely is, and he wants to do it tonight, but Gunther has already left the building. Aldis says he's talking to Gunther's legal team, and Gunther wants a stipulation, which he'll announce next week. That's fine with Cody, but he doesn't want to wait much longer, so the title match is in 2 weeks from tonight, and Nick Aldis agrees. And then we have our King of the Ring match to be our main event, and Dom Mysterio defeats Braun Breaker, Trick Williams, and Damian Priest when Liv low blows Priest, allowing Dom to hit the 619 and the Frog Splash for the win, and this advances Dom to the semifinals of the King of the Ring. This match was pretty fun, had a lot of really interesting characters and kind of some interesting interference. Obviously, Dom's an interesting winner coming out, so we'll see kind of where that goes from here. But yeah, Dom's an interesting winner for sure, but that would be my match of the night. I thought it kind of, everybody kind of brought their best. And I think that was the match that impressed me the most. So definitely check that one out. We'll then go to Collision from there to wrap up the week. We open with Divine Dominion retaining over TJ when they hit the Divine Intervention on Anna Jay for the win. We get hype video for the other Owen Hart semifinal with Swerve Strickland and Brody King kind of hyping up matches that they've had previously, as well as, kind of how they got there. And then the Don Callis family, they beat some people up in the backstage while Roppongi Vice brag about getting rid of Kenobi Kashida. We then have Shane Taylor. He defeats Alan Angels via pinfall with an absolutely sick pile driver. It had a name that they said, but I didn't quite catch it. But it was a pretty devastating looking pile driver. But after the match, Shane Taylor says his promotions are taking over as the most violent group in AEW. If the Death Riders don't like that, they can come do something about it. They do come do something about it as Mox, Claudio, and Pac defeat Carly Bravo, Lee Moriarty, and Sean Dean when Pac gets Bravo to tap to the Brutalizer. We then have Tommaso Ciampa squash a man named Beef via submission with the Lion Tamer to kind of continue to poke the bear at Chris Jericho. After the match, Ciampa puts it on again outside the ring, and insists that Tony Schiavone deem him better than Chris Jericho. He even calls Tony Schiavone a dinosaur and that he's 100 years old or something to that effect. So I thought that was pretty funny. We then have Shane Taylor in the back. He has attacked Yuta and wants to match with Jon Moxley on Dynamite. So that should be an interesting matchup if that gets made. We then have Clark Connors defeat Juice Robinson via pinfall when David Finlay kind of interferes and it allows Connors to hit the spear to get the win. We then get video of our Survival of the Fittest match, kind of hyping up various women who want to win the TBS title. So kind of putting some hype behind that match because obviously it'll make whoever the new TBS is obviously a big deal. We then have Jon Moxley. He is down to face Shane Taylor, even if he doesn't think that's the best move for Shane Taylor to make. We then have the Conglomeration retain their trios titles, defeating La Facción Ingobernables, represented by Sammy Guevara, Dralistico, and Rush, when Cassidy catches Dralistico with a roll-up. We then have the Dogs. They want to fight the Young Bucks so they can do that at some point next week in Cincinnati, whether it be Dynamite or Collision. When they go to the back and the Conglomeration are interrupted by Roppongi Vice, who challenge Orange Cassidy to face Andrade El Idolo on Dynamite. And then we have our women's Owen Hart tournament match where Hazuki from Stardom defeats Persephone from CMLL via pinfall when she catches her with the La Maestral Cradle. And this advances Hazuki to the semifinals where she will face Mercedes Moné in the next round. And then after the match, Mercedes Moné comes in and she jumps Persephone. Persephone obviously beat Mercedes for the CMLL women's title at some point last year. So Hazuki actually comes in and saves her opponent to kind of end the show. And actually Mercedes comes back and kind of beats down Hazuki to end the show as well. So, obviously giving some hype to the match. I don't know. Like I said, I don't give outsiders too much of an opportunity to win these kind of tournaments. So, with the fact that Hazuki is one of the semifinalists and Athena's the forever women's ROH champion, I don't give her much chance to pull it off either. So, match was solid in the show, but the match that left for me, Collision, is the trios titles match between the Conglomeration and LFI. So, that's another week in the books. Thank you for joining me as always. We will see you next week.